Everyone, Kim here with Abundant Life Tarot. Welcome to my channel. So I wanted to share with you a few of the decks that I use in the month of September. A couple of oracle decks, a couple of tarot decks, and explain to you why they came up into use for this month. And I'm definitely curious to hear from you in the comment section below what decks you were using in September. All right, let's get started. Okay, so let's talk about the oracle decks that called to me this month. And I use a whole bunch of decks, and I always do for my professional readings. But these decks in particular I'm going to talk about today in this month in review is decks that were from my own personal readings that I did for myself. My processing of emotions following the hurricane that I experienced. I did a video, like a little vlog, explaining my feelings surrounding my first hurricane and the Five of Cups. So check out that video if you haven't already done so. I had some feels and thoughts about how the Five of Cups showed up in my life, and I want to share them with you, so check that out. So let's talk about these oracle decks first. First one I want to talk about is the Healers of the Earth Oracle. Here's the guidebook. Here's the guidebook, and it's actually a generous guidebook, as you can see, for this oracle. And I've talked about this deck a few times on my channel, so this may not come as a surprise to you. If you know me, you know my channel, you know I've talked about this deck in the past. So here is the backs. There, you can see that it's gilded in silver. It's actually holding up quite well. Mine has a border, although you can get a borderless edition, I believe, of this deck. But I refrained from doing that and just stuck with my bordered edition, and I'm quite pleased with it. It shuffles like a dream. It riffle shuffles. It overhand shuffles easily and effortlessly. When I want to riffle shuffle, it riffle shuffles beautifully. So love it for that. And it's an oracle deck that's tarot size, always a favorite of mine. So let me show you some of the cards that came up for me post hurricane. So we went through our hurricane, and I did a reading for myself, I think like the day or the day after the storm had passed. And here were some of the cards that jumped for me. And they were poignant messages that I needed to receive. And I really appreciated this deck for the comfort that it brought, the insights that it brought. And I have used it for client readings, as well as readings for myself. But in September, it was medicine for me that I needed. So one of the cards that I got was card number 31, and it was don't forget your umbrella. And you see that here. There's key words here. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. It says foresight, preparedness, contingency plan. So that was one of the cards that jumped. The next one was braving the storm, facing difficulties, finding courage and fortitude. I think this was during the storm when I pulled this card, so I thought that was like, wow, right on point. Pick up your sword, take a stand, be heard, support a cause, although it looks very much Four of Swords energy. So I kind of, when I saw this card and I saw the Four of Swords, I said, okay, this is a moment of meditation, pulling back, accepting my situation for what it is, and mentally collecting myself and nurturing my psyche is what I took this card to mean, taking a stand for myself. Then we have the dining table, a date, a social gathering, nourishment. This card was interesting because it came up about 2 days after the storm. And what was interesting was that my husband was having people, locals, who needed power to come and charge their devices at our home because we had a generator. So that card came up and it was like, okay, I see you, Spirit, I see you. Then we have fruitful labors. When I start worrying about how am I going to make money during this time, this card came up. And so we've got growth, birth, manifestation, a harvest. So this was like, okay, you've planted seeds, my love. Relax. Just understand you are in this season of just having to sit back and allow the fruits of your labor to do what they do and stop worrying. And then finally, we got wounded healer, wisdom from experience, humanity, and care. Wow, this was a poignant card to receive for me because I was a wounded healer, to be honest with you. When you go through a literal storm, I mean, normally when we say, oh, you've gone through a storm, it's an emotional storm, it's a mental storm. This was an actual storm that came and cleared things out. I mean, how the land looked before is not how the land looks now. So that's metaphorically speaking for how I am after the storm. And, you know, when you're going through the storm, you're like, this is hell. I don't really want to go through this. Why am I going through this? Why did I make the choices that I made to lead me to being in this space? And then after the storm, you start to have some clarity. You start to appreciate things for what they are and where they are, and realizing that this experience is deepening my resolve, it's deepening my humanity, so that way when I am doing healing work for others, I have that empathy, I have that compassion to help people go through physical and actual real storms in their life, and then the metaphorical type of storms that are just as important to us. But I mean, when you're faced with something coming at your human experience where you're like, ooh, I feel quite small when I hear the clap of thunder and when the winds are blowing at me and could knock me over, that really changes some things for you in your life and give you some perspective. So that's the Healers of the Earth Oracle that I wanted to share with you all. I really, really am quite grateful for this deck and the messages that it brought forth in September for me. Okay, definitely, like I said, check out that video because I explained how the Five of Cups came about. I did a New Year's reading for myself back in January of 2022, and for September, I got the Five of Cups as an overall theme. And so, literally, the hurricane represents, for me, that Five of Cups moment. All right, let's move on to the next Oracle deck I want to talk about is Raven Phelan's Messenger Oracle. I don't see many folks talking about this deck much anymore, but I still very much love it, very much so. It is a Blue Angel Oracle deck. It's a little bit smaller than their standard larger sized Oracle decks, which I appreciate. It's glossy, but I won't hold it against it. There's no gilding, and it's holding up quite well. This is a good copy here. So I really like this deck, and every time I pull it out, I'm always surprised at like how little I use it, but when I use it, how poignant the messages are. So here we've got Honor Gaia. Some people might not be a fan of the borders, but I don't mind borders. I'm not super critical of a deck because it has borders, so just understand that about me. Be Without Malice, and my apologies, there's like some background noise that I can't help today. Love Without Condition is what it says here, and wash away your burdens. Isn't that beautiful? Let me see what else I want to share with you. Know your power. There's a few others I want to show you. Let the emotions flow. see. Love that you are different. I like this card a lot. Be patient. I'm trying to find one. I wonder if it's where. There she is. Embrace the feminine. I really adore this card. Embrace the feminine. It's not everybody's art style, but it works for me. Reveal your truth. Fantasy, a little bit of fae there. Got dragons, you know. It's got a beautiful fantasy, fantastical, whimsical nature to it. And you could definitely get lost in the imagery. Let's see. Need and necessity. And embrace the dark. I believe I did an unboxing of this deck, or not an unboxing, like a deck reveal. I don't remember exactly what, but if I did do some sort of unboxing or reveal of a deck that I discuss in my monthly reviews, I do try to link them in the description box so you can do a full look through of all the cards in the deck. And then here's the guidebook. There you go. All right, so let's move on to the tarot. I'll share with you the tarot. And of course, like I said, there's many decks that I use regularly, month over month for my client readings. We're not talking about those. We're talking about decks I use for myself. So what I use in conjunction with this deck often is this deck, the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Now, some people would argue this is not a tarot deck because it's not a full 78 cards. This is also a Blue Angel deck. Some people would say it's more like an oracle versus a tarot. Others would say it's a tarot, but it's its own system. I don't really worry about labels with this deck. Here's the other end of the box. I don't worry about labels with this deck. I just use it. And I usually use it when I just need like a big sister love and hug from the universe. Okay, so it's not always often I grab for this deck, and it more often is not that I use this particular deck for myself, just like this one for myself. These decks are for me and the readings that I do when I need some guidance as a reader. Okay, here's my backs. I know that there's various renditions of this deck or editions, and it's gilded, it's worn, had it for a while now. I have the pocket edition, but this month I just wanted to use what was familiar. Here's Death and Rebirth. One of these days I do want to do like a mini tarot study with this deck, and I'm hoping that others will be interested in doing a study with me, because I would like to explore it and go a bit deeper with it. We'll see. We'll see what people are wanting. What do they want to do this? If not, then I can do a tarot study with myself, and go deeper with it and just work with it exclusively for a month or two and see how that goes. Let's see. I really, really appreciate the messages that came through during September. September was transformational for me, for the physical outside of me and internal emotionally for me. There's King of Air. There are suits. There are majors, but it does have its own system, but you're not in this alone trying to figure the system out. Raven Phelan, the creator of the Messenger Oracle, wrote an amazing guidebook. And one of the criteria for my tarot studies or my oracle studies, that when I lead them, is that a great guidebook is a must. And so this one doesn't disappoint. So it's another reason why I think it would be a great deck to work with and explore in our next tarot study. Here's Three of Water. I just really, really, really love it. And I just could never let it go. It's interesting to me when people are like, oh, it doesn't resonate. I don't work with it. And like I said, I don't work with it often, but when I work with it, you guys, oh my goodness, the magical readings that happen are just so profound. And I'm not quite sure how it would work with client readings. I'm sure it would work fantastically. I just felt like it was one of those decks that's all mine from my experience, and I'm sure you have those decks in your collection yourself. So share in the comments below, what are decks that you have in your collection that's just all yours, especially if you're a professional reader. What are the decks that you're like, you know what, I know I can read the hell out of that deck, but this deck is for me. What is that deck? Here is the Youth. Let me see if there's any others I want to share. I love Perception. It's a powerful deck. Let me know your thoughts on this particular deck, the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Now, last but not least, and it is one that has been in my collection for a very long time, and you will be able to tell by the condition of its container and the condition of the cards how much I've loved on this deck. Okay, it is my Sun and Moon Tarot. This is a US Games Systems deck, and it is in a 10. I got the smaller version. I really love having this in a 10. The 10 is seriously banged up. I don't even know if you can see how banged up it is. Maybe you can. It's banged up, but it stays in my bag. So if I have to do an on-the-spot reading with a friend and I met up at a cafe, you know, we're gonna have some coffee and croissants, and she's like, can you pull a card for me? This is the deck. But sometimes when I'm running errands and I just feel like shuffling the cards and my husband's driving, I will just bust this deck out and shuffle and see what the cards have to say about any various little questions. And so, of course, as we are not rebuilding, but getting back to normal after the storm, thankfully our house is intact. It is fine with this, like after the storm, it withheld beautifully. Thank you, God. But there was things, you know, trees that fell down that we had to clear. We had to go shopping. We had to clean our house. We're still in the midst of cleaning after the storm. And it's not so much cleaning from like wind debris. It was just that because if you don't have power for 7 or 8 days and no access to running water, your house will get dirty because you're not cleaning it on a regular. So we had to do a lot of cleaning, a lot of laundry, and running of errands, paying bills, grocery shopping. So there's plenty of time for me. Oh, going to the bank. There's plenty of time for me to shuffle this little baby. So we have this, and I like the Sun and Moon in the tin version, because I like the size, but also because I liked how it was bordered in black, whereas the full-size edition is bordered in white. Okay, and I just love this deck. I edged it in black because I beat it up quite a bit. I'm gonna order some black Sharpie markers, like the chiseled tip, and re-edge it. I've re-edged this deck like 3 or 4 times. It's just well loved. I just don't talk about it often because I forget about it because it's always in my purse. It is Thoth based. Obviously, it is also inspired by Rider-Waite-Smith, so it's like a combo systems, if you will, and the guidebook will speak to that. You know, you got your little white book here. It says Sun and Moon Tarot by Vanessa DeCourt. And it's actually quite a very generous little white book. So there's that. If you're in the market for a 10 tarot deck, I suggest this one. Okay, so 9 of Cups. I just really love it. 5 of Pentacles, just like the Thoth, it has the keyword at the very top, worry, 5 of Pentacles. 6 of Swords. It's always spot on for me when I do readings with it, for myself and for others. This is my on-the-spot reader. Do you have an on-the-spot reader that you bust out when you are about town or hanging with friends? What is that deck for you? This is Strength. I love the Strength card. Here's Ace of Pentacles. Here is the Nine of Swords. Let's see, here's the Ten of Swords. Princess of Pentacles. And even they have the elements here. The top, the earth element is there. Here's the Empress. I love the images. The folks have kind of like a hippie, a modern feel to it. Two of Pentacles. It's a lot of noise going on outside, and I'm just like, I don't care today. I'm recording this video. Three of Cups. And Eight of Swords. I don't care about what's going on outside today. Four of Pentacles. Okay, so there you have it, folks. Let me show you one more. Here's Temperance. I really love this deck, and I have for so many years. And like I said, I don't talk about it often. It's literally because I forget that I have it, but it's so much a part of my monthly experience of using this deck when I'm out and about that it's a shame that I don't talk about it more often. But one of the things about monthly reviews is to share decks with you that do still come up in my use, that I still pull from time to time and use, and I want to share with you how I'm using it, why I'm using it, what came up for me when I did use it, so that you are inspired to, if you have these decks, to pull those decks off the shelf and see what comes up for you, and also to go to your shelves and pull off some decks that you already have and use them and incorporate them in your reading practice. You'd be surprised about what will be revealed. So there you have it, folks. That's it. Do me a favor on your way out of this video. Please hit the like button. Do me a favor. Do your sis a favor, especially after the ordeal I went through last month. Hit the like button. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe so I know that you are engaged and wanting more of the content that I am creating over here. I send you all so much love. Please take very good care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.